Okay, we are recording. And I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to write all that down. Again, I really don't care what you write as far as the examples for those that are listening and not talking while I'm talking. One of the most important is the logarithmic, the first one. That is called the definition of a logarithm. That first one right here. B to the x is equal to y. Log base b of y is equal to x. That is the definition of a logarithm. That is very important. Definition of logarithm. That is essential for about 3 sections of your logarithm homework. So you better make sure you understand that one. Basically, you can rewrite an exponent as a logarithm and a logarithm as an exponent. Now, the product rule, the quotient rule, the power rule, that's not used very much. Yeah, that's kind of the product rule. Some of these are kind of this and this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of those rules that are very, very, very important, and you should already know them. Okay? Y'all should look at those and y'all should say, oh yeah, I remember those. Now, how much of logarithms you have basically depends on what classes you had before and what kind of teacher you had. Okay? If you had a high school football coach that didn't care if you learned anything or not, then you probably never saw logarithms. But if you had a hard-nosed math teacher that wanted you to succeed, then you might have seen logarithms. We're going to review both of them. So if you haven't finished writing them, take a picture right quick and finish writing them, because we're going to go on and do the homework, because that's why I wanted y'all to turn in homework today, so you would have ample time to finish your homework. I think it's either due tonight or Wednesday with the test. I can't remember.
Wednesday.
Is the homework due tonight or test? The test due Wednesday.
Homework's due tonight.
Okay. So let's go ahead, and Pendleton never did show up, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So here's, I know, I'm what is it? You hate men and women? I'm both. Yep. And racist and a terrorist. All right, so here we go. This is 5.1, number 7. 5.1, number 7. Is this a test question? Probably. I don't know. Let's see what the test question says. I mean, homework. If f represents a function, only one of the graph choices presented will have a single solution to the equation. F of x is equal to -5. Which one is it? If f represents a function, only one of the graphs. What?
It's just down 5.
Well, I guess, yeah, because you don't have anything to compare it to. It says -5. That says y is equal to -5. If y is equal to -5, then that means this is your answer.
What about A? I like -5.
No. I don't understand that question. -5, if f represents a function, only one of the graph choices presented will have a single solution to the equation. This question doesn't make any sense. Hold on a second. f of x is equal to b. Y is equal to 6. That's what I just said. I said y is equal to what? Negative 5. Y is equal to negative 5 is a vertical shift. In this case, y is equal to 6 would be a positive shift right there. So it seems like to me the answer would be B on this one. But
Yeah, I think it's asking like what line has a solution, like has an x value for y equals negative 5.
I don't know what this question is asking. It is not a test question. I hope it's not. If f represents a function, only one of the graph choices presented will have a single solution. Yeah, but they're not. That right here, I'm sorry, this, with what they're given, I'm trying to figure out what this question's asking. This says y is equal to negative 5. If y is equal to negative 5, that means it's a horizontal what?
Line.
Horizontal line. So that means it has a vertical shift of negative 5.
I think it wants us, whichever one only has one x, but whichever line only has one,
Okay, whichever one has it has one thing.
yeah, one interaction.
This is a
with that
stupid
line.
question. Not that you sent it. This is a stupid question because it doesn't give you enough information. What they're saying is this. Let me show you what they're saying. They're saying f of x is equal to, in this case, this is a 1 over x plus 3 minus 6. All right? In this equation right here, we have a horizontal shift of what? 3 to the left. And a vertical shift of 6 what? Down. You have two things. You have a horizontal shift and you have a what? A vertical shift. All right? Does everybody understand that? This question says, if f represents a function, only one of the graph choices presented will have a single solution. This, we have two things. This, we have one. But the way they have it written, it looks like it's a vertical shift. Does that make sense? But it's, to me, it's not a very good question because it doesn't give you enough. Evidently, it's going to be, and it's not really right because a horizontal shift is, that would be 5 to the what? Right. So, I guess the answer is A, because it can't be, why can't it be this one?
Well, there's two solutions to y.
This is what?
X squared.
And this is, I mean, the 1 over negative x squared. And this is negative what? Because it's a funnel. So it can't be these. I don't think. Hell, I don't know. I don't know what the question, to me, the question is 1 over x. Or negative 1 over x. But I don't know because I don't know what's given. I don't know enough information about this problem. So if I pick A, I'm guessing. So you had a right to send this question because it's not really a good question. It's A. And I don't see how you can make y equal to negative 5. I don't see how you can relate that to a horizontal shift of 5 to the left. But maybe if you read to explain this, maybe that'll help you. But I ain't got time to do that today. I've never seen this question before, much less know what it's even asking for. So your explanation, I don't have an explanation for it. Just pick A or pick the one that looks like a horizontal shift of negative 5. I don't know how to explain it. And I don't know, this is negative 1 over x squared. This is negative 1 over x squared. It doesn't even tell you, I'll have to sit down and look at this one, try to figure out.
Is it that there is no x equals something?
Yeah, I think it's there's one intersect point with the line y equals 5. Like that's the horizontal line. If you look at A, it's the only one that has.
Yeah, that's this one right here.
That's the asymptote though, so it doesn't intersect that at all, right?
But there's a vertical shift. This says a vertical shift of -5. That's what this says. Y is equal to what? -5. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the vertical shift right there. There's nothing here that says there's a horizontal shift, because the horizontal shift is attached to the x, like it would be right here. So I don't understand the thinking of this question. It's not given enough information. So you have a right to send this question because it's not a very good question at all. So I guess you would pick the -5 horizontal shift. I don't know why. Not a good test question. Let's go to the next one. I'm not going to spend time on that question because that to me is not a test question. So let's move on. I'm going to keep it because I want to try to figure it out. All right, number 12. Please don't let it be like that. All right, to me, this looks like a good test question. Now, let's analyze it before we even answer the question. First of all, is it a half a volcano, a vortex, or what? What is it?
A funnel.
It's a funnel. Why? Because no, it's not a funnel. It's a what? Volcano. It's positive. Both of them are positive. So draw your parent graph. You can call it upside down funnel.
Upside down funnel.
There we go. There's our parent graph. Let me erase my arbitrary marks that always come up when I use dotted lines. One day I will. All right, so there is our parent graph. So tell me what this one's going to do. 6 to the right. Horizontal shift of 6 to the right. Let's highlight that, and that's why this is a test question. There's your horizontal shift of 6 to the right. So horizontal shift 6 to the right. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means you got a vertical asymptote at 6. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, 6. All right, so now our graph will look like this. So that's what your graph should look like. So what does it ask for? To obtain right 6 units. So we know it's not this one. We know it's not this one. Looks like Charlie, as in bucket. The domain is everything except x cannot equal what?
6.
So we would write negative infinity. I'm going to write it like it should be written. Negative infinity. Why they just can't say, oh, forget it. Okay, so I'm going to put negative infinity, comma, and we're going to put 6, parentheses, and then a union, because intersection means that there's overlap. So mostly everything's a union unless you have an overlap. Parentheses, 6, comma, infinity, close parentheses. And that is a test question. Why? Because it has everything. 0 to what? And you should have domain and range like second nature now, since we've been talking about it since the first unit. That is a good test question, whoever sent that one. That's the kind of questions I'll ask. I'm not going to ask you a question that makes you read somebody's mind. I'm not going to ask that like that first one. This one is number 16. Use division. Yes, this is a test question. So let's use division. So hopefully that'll discourage most of you. So x minus 2. X minus 2 into x minus 1. How many times will x go into x? 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 2 is negative what? We always what? Subtract. So that means this is going to be a negative, and that's going to be a positive. The first line always goes out. So that's going to leave us with negative 1 plus 2 is 1 remainder. So that means I'm going to rewrite my answer as, well, let's go back to 2 into 7. 2 will go in there 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6 with a 1 remainder. So our answer is 3 and 1 over what? 2. So we took the 1. So that's going to be 1 plus what?
1 over x.
1 over x minus 2. But that's not the way we need to write it. We need to rewrite that. F of x is equal to 1 over x minus 2 plus 1. Now we have a horizontal shift of what?
1 to the left.
Horizontal shift of 2 to the right.
Okay.
And a vertical shift of 1 what? Hold on a second. I guess I gotta hit it.
Use the.
What's happening? And 1 up. So our graph is going to be 2 to the right and 1 up. So there's our new origin. And what kind of half volcano or full volcano? It's 1 over x, so that means what? Half of 1. So there is our graph. So somebody tell me which one it is.
That's B.
So if it asks you about horizontal and vertical shifts and it asks you to, that's pretty much going to be the way I'm going to ask you on a test. Did we go over the test the other day?
No.
Okay. All right. Which one is it? It's not this one. It's not this one. Looks like Bravo.
Yay.
That's good because it doesn't ask a bunch of questions, so I like that one. Make sure you can sketch it. Make sure you can find the domain and the range.
You have a work email.
Next, 5.2, number 9. Identify any vertical, horizontal, or oblique asymptotes of the graph, blah, blah, blah. Well, where's the graph? Okay, this is the graph. Okay, well, first of all, we've got to blow it up because you can't understand it the way it's written, so we've got to blow it up. Talking about BA blow up. Because I'm trying to find, they could do a whole lot better here. It's a test question, but it's a terrible question to ask because you can't even see it. All right, here's one. Okay, this is what it looks like. I'm going to exaggerate it a little bit. All right, let's see. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we've got that's a what, 3? Got a 3 here. So 1, 2, 3. We've got a vertical asymptote of x is equal to -3. All right, we've got a horizontal, don't have a horizontal asymptote, but we've got a oblique asymptote right here, and it crosses the y-axis at what? At 3, right?
Yeah.
So we know it's plus 3, something x plus 3. So we've got this right here, x is equal to -3. That's our vertical asymptote. So we know x in the equation cannot equal what? -3. Now, we've got on the oblique asymptote, y is equal to something x plus 3. Now we just got to figure out the x. So we've got to figure out the slope of this line. So it looks like to me, 1, 2, 1. It's a negative slope, so it's going to be -2 over 1, which is y is equal to -2x plus 3, and that's our oblique asymptote. Now, we still got this function that looks like this, right there. So we know it's half a volcano. So I would say probably you would have to actually go through. You can't write the equation because you'd have to actually go through and multiply these two together. So I think that's the only thing they're going to ask is those two things.
There's more stuff.
So x is equal to -3. That's correct. Hold on a minute. Let me get this back down. All right, go down here. There, -2x plus 3. That's what I got. The domain, -infinity to -3, and then -3 to what? Positive infinity. That should be it. That's a good test question. The graph wasn't that good, so you might have to blow it up a little bit and really look at it. I don't like that. I don't like the graph they picked. I think they could have spread it out a little bit, make it look better. But that is a good test question. Next one is number 13. Number 13. Now, first thing I would do probably is you don't have to, but I would go ahead and use the FOIL method. Or you could put it in your graphing calculator. You can find the vertical asymptotes by setting the denominator equal to what? 0, but that's all they're asking. So let's look at that. X plus 2 equals 0, and x minus 5 is equal to 0. So therefore, we know that we can't have -2, that's one vertical asymptote, and positive what? 5. So let's look at looks like to me, we've got a -2 and a positive 5 at each one of these, right? Okay, so that takes care of that. It looks like to me that we're going to have x squared functions here. I'm just going to write, let's see, this is going to be x squared minus 3x plus, minus 1x plus 3x minus 3 over x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 10. So that's going to give us x squared. What's minus 1 plus 3? Plus 2x minus 3 over x squared minus 5x plus 2x is what? Negative 3x? Well, here, when you take x squared divided by x squared, you take the coefficient of the 2. So we're going to have a horizontal asymptote of y is equal to 1. Because what's x squared over x squared? It's 1, but you've got to use the coefficient. What's 1 over 1? 1. So which one has a horizontal asymptote of 1? Looks like B. But I can't tell. Let's see. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I believe the answer is B. I don't see any other horizontal asymptote of 1. Do y'all? Good test question. Next one. 5.3, number 1. Okay, we did one like this Friday, Wednesday. I believe we did. They want to know all about this guy. So it says and first of all, we're not trying to impress anybody. So what does this mean? What does A mean? That means that y is equal to what?
0.
So what's happening when y is equal to 0? That's the what axis? Okay, so they're asking what's happening at the y-axis. That's what's happening. What's happening at the x-axis? That's what it's asking. All right. This one says y is less than what? 0, which means y is negative. So that means if y is negative, that's below the what? Below the x-axis. What's happening below the x-axis? And of course, this says y is what? Greater than 0. That means y is positive, which means what's happening what? Above the x-axis. So now that we got the pinkies taken care of, after we take the pinkies down, that's what we're asking. What's happening at the x-axis? It's non-existent. You can't touch the x-axis. So that means the x-axis does not exist, or it is a horizontal what? Asymptote. So what would you put for the x-axis?
Y.
No. The solution is a what?
Empty set.
Because it doesn't. Do you touch the x-axis? Yes or no?
No.
No. So if you can't touch it, you can't put a number on it. So I would say the answer to that is B. The solution set there's no real numbers, means that it's an asymptote. So you can have y is an empty set, or you can have x is the empty set.
Yay.
The next one. What is happening below the x-axis? Negative infinity to what? Whatever that is. What is that? 7. So, negative infinity, I assume that's what they're wanting. Negative infinity to, I'm trying to get my mouse over there. Negative infinity, comma, 7 with a what? Parenthesis, because you can't touch it. And then, of course, what's the next one? 7 to what? 7, comma, infinity. Good test question. Short and what? Sweet. No trick questions. No trying to figure out. All you got to do is drop the pinky and just write back in redneck pre-algebra days what this means. Next. That is number 1. Number 2, same thing. Write it in redneck terms, and let's talk about it. So let's write it in redneck terms. So that means y is equal to 0. That means what's happening at the what? X-axis. This means what's happening below the what? Below the x-axis. And what's happening above the x-axis. So, at the x-axis, we're crossing at what number? -1. So, that's your answer. -1. So you'd say x is equal to -1. X is equal to -1. It may not want the x. I don't know if it wants it or not. Okay, let's just type in -1. Okay, so make a note. On this question, you don't type in x. You just type in -1. All right, what is the solution set below the x-axis? From -infinity to what?
It's -1 to 0.
-1 to 0. Huh? What's happening below the x-axis? So it's -infinity to 0 because it's right there. So that's going to be -infinity, -infinity, comma, 0. And do we touch? Okay, whatever. Do we touch it? No. So I'll hit delete, delete. There we go. And that should be your answer. I don't know what they
Is
want.
that the x coordinates?
Yeah.
Because it crosses that.
What does it say? What's happening below the x-axis? So let me highlight below the x-axis. I may be reading, I was doing the y-axis. I was doing y, so 0 to 1. 0 to -1. Is that what you were saying? Let's see if that's what they want. -1 to 0.
I think, wait, is -1 included?
No, it's not included. It should, well, yeah, it would be. It would be included.
I don't think it is.
Well, let's just put a parenthesis. Okay, it's not included. And then what's happening above the x-axis? -infinity to 0, and then 0 to what? Infinity? I'm just going to put 3.
That's a good answer. 3 is always correct.
Yeah.
Families to use them instead of those.
-infinity to -1. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we said.
Yeah, and then 0 to positive infinity.
That's right.
A to -1. I'm sorry, -infinity to -1. Oh yeah, and then it jumps over, yeah. And then from 0 to positive infinity.
Oh,
Because remember, it's above the x-axis. So above, here, 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 to there. And then what else is above the x-axis? Here to here. You got to ignore this. So what I would suggest doing is when you're doing B and C, just do this. Like when I'm doing C, I know you can't do this, but I'm going to take my handy dandy.
Mark on our computer screen.
Where are we?
There. So C, Give me the blue area for C. Negative infinity to negative 1, and then from what? 0 to what? Infinity. Does everybody understand? You're going to have to use your eyes, and you're going to have to eliminate what they're asking for, okay? Or what they're not asking for. Here is above infinity, so that means you're going to have to erase below x. Here is below x, so what am I going to do there? I'm going to take my handy dandy backup. Where's my backup?
Are you trying to undo what you did?
Yes,
It's
this.
the error right there.
Okay, now I'm going to take my white highlighter, and I'm going to erase what?
What's above?
That might make it easier for y'all to see it. So what's blue as far as x? Now, don't do like I did. I was doing the range. I was doing from negative infinity to 0. You can't do that. You got to do it. Everything is in terms of x-axis except for the range. And I didn't think. So from 0 to negative 1 is your B. So you got to be careful on that one. It's not tricky. You just have to be careful on it. All right, let's look at the test. So let's look at the test and get that out of the way. And let's go to Course Tools, Assignment Manager. And Chapter 5, right? Preview. I'm not going to go through all the questions. I'm just going to let you look at them. Okay, we did this one in class. What are you supposed to do?
Just multiply by x squared.
Multiply through by x squared. We did that in class. So write down, notebook. Okay, that number 1 right there is in your notebook. Okay, we did this one in class. The graph of the rational function is given below. Use the graph to give. We just did that one. What's happening at the x-axis? It's crossing at what? 0. That's it, because it's converging. It only crosses at 0. So find where, so that's going to be A, B, or D. Okay, you're going to mark out C because C ain't going to cut it. All right, so A, B, or D. What's happening in response to X below the X-axis? Negative infinity to what? 0. So which one says negative infinity to 0? So now A is out. So now C and A are out.
Wait, but one of them has a bracket, one of them doesn't. A, or B
It's
is D.
not included.
So it's delta.
I don't see a bracket.
In
In
B,
B,
there's a bracket in B.
Okay, well, I haven't got to C yet. Okay, I see. That would be, well, let's go ahead and look at, I don't think you can include it, so I would say it's probably going to be delta.
So you can't include it because 0 is.
Because 0, it's asking 0. It can't be 2. So I would say, what did I just say?
Delta.
Delta? That's what I would say.
that's what I was.
Yep.
Yay.
Because you can't have your cake and what?
Eat it too.
Eat it too. You can't have it in A and have it in B and C also. Okay. Next. Next. Which of the following functions have a graph that does not have a vertical? Remember, we went through this. All 3 of these we've gone over so far.
It's C.
Well, let's look. Because somebody might not have been there or might not have wrote down, whatever. So this one has a vertical asymptote at what? X is equal to 7. If it's not equal to something, then that means that you have a vertical asymptote. So that one has a vertical asymptote. Capiche?
Yeah.
X squared minus 5. X squared minus 5 is equal to 0. X squared is equal to 5. Positive or negative 2.7. So it has a what? a vertical asymptote. X squared minus plus 5 is equal to 0. What's wrong with this picture? Can't have it. A square root cannot be negative, so you would come out with a what? With an I, and an I is a what number?
Imaginary number.
Imaginary number. X squared is equal to 0. You can have that. X cannot equal what? 0, or you get whatever. So C is your answer. And again, we did that in class, and that means for those online students, it's on video, for the 1 or 2 students that actually watch the videos. So, and we feel good about that. All right, first of all, rewrite this one. Why would you rewrite it? Because it's not written in the way that you write it. I wouldn't do that. That irritates me to death. So first of all, we're going to rewrite this. Negative 2x plus 4 over negative x plus 11. Now, to find your vertical asymptote, that's pretty simple. What do you do? Negative x plus 11 is equal to what? 0. X is equal to what?
11.
Okay, so that's your vertical asymptote. So we know that what? X is equal to 11. We know it's on the right side, so that means A or what? C. We know these two weren't it. Okay? So, what are we going to do?
We're gonna look at
We got to look at the horizontal asymptote, which means you can either, since these two are the same, you can just take the coefficient. Negative 2 over negative 1 is what?
2.
2, positive 2. So our horizontal asymptote is equal to what? 2. So which one has a horizontal asymptote of 2? Alpha? It's alpha?
Yes, sir.
I think we might have went over one like that in class. I can't remember, but I just did it, so. Okay, let's see what this one says. Identify any vertical, okay. You got a vertical horizontal at 3 and 3, negative 3, and a horizontal asymptote at what?
Negative 5.
Okay, I'm not going to go through that one. I'm not going to type that one in, but you have 2 vertical asymptotes and 1 what? What's an oblique asymptote? It'd be diagonal.
Wait, what would be the domain?
Yeah, what would be the equation for that? That'd be
Okay, you're not going to be able to do the equation because you're not going to get enough information. But the domain would be negative infinity to negative what? 3?
Yes.
Then 3 to 3, and then 3 to what? Infinity. The domain, the range would be negative infinity to negative 5, and then from 0 to what? Infinity. Next. All right, this one, you can actually, the x minus 4 is what? That's your vertical asymptote. So where you have a 4 vertical asymptote?
B.
You know it's not C, so it's either A or B. Now let's look. X squared divided by x. It goes in, so that means that this is divisible into this. So you could actually do, whatever, the long division into that. So that would be x.
Plus
Yeah, it's going to be a plus, isn't it?
x plus 4.
Yeah.
B.
Shortcut number.
So you can do shortcut. So the x minus 4s, so that's going to be x plus 4. So it's going to be B. Oops.
Yeah, it's C.
And I oops.
How can it be C?
It's x plus 4 is the equation of that line.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't. Okay. This is what I didn't do. I didn't do the shortcut. Do the shortcut. You get x plus 4 times what? X minus 4 over x minus 4 and I'm sorry, I was looking for vertical asymptotes. I'm sorry. That's my fault. So it would be C. Thank you very much, right side of the room, for paying attention. Okay, we got a minute left. You don't need to, just wait a minute. I still got a minute. So, well, I'm going to take, when this turns to, all right, what do we do here? Multiply by what? Multiply by x squared minus 25. Multiply by what? X squared. I'm trying to show y'all what's on the test before y'all take it. Okay, what you can't factor it, so that means you got a vertical asymptote at x minus 4, and you also need to divide. So we did that one today. So did this one today, or one like it. Did this one today. I'm trying to get through all of it, so just bear with me. There's only 10 or 12 math questions, and we did this one today.
All right. Sounds like I'm playing.
Okay, so y'all ready to go? Get that test done. Get the homework done. I will see y'all tomorrow, which means what? Wednesday. Let me turn the recorder off.